Alright, welcome back to my YouTube channel, Wassce Tutorials. We see where mathematical literacy begins. Alright, so we are continuing with our Wassce 2025 questions, and here we are continuing with the optional. Started with the optional questions, which is question 6. Question 6, and this is combining ratio and proportion with percentages. So we can see that the estimated cost of building a 3-bedroom apartment was $64,000. It was made up of the cost of labor, materials, and the contractor's charges in the ratio 12:15:5 respectively. At the start of the construction, the cost of labor increased by P%. Materials increased by 2% due to inflation, but the contractor's charges remained same. After the increase, the cost of labor was 2/3 the cost of materials. Determine the value of P, the new cost of building the apartment. New cost of building the apartment. So now here, we start with solution. So you can write the question down, or if you have the paper with you, then it's fine. You can write the question down so that we get more space and solve this question. Okay? Oh yes. All right. So let's write our solution here. So solution. We start. The estimated cost of building a 3-bedroom apartment was $64,000. So $64,000, that's the estimated cost. So we have our estimated cost, or we can see the total cost of building the 3-bedroom apartment is $64,000. So now, it was made up of the cost of labor, materials, and the contractor's charges. So we have labor is to materials, then is to contractor's charges. So we have 12:15:5. So now, we can get the total ratio here. Total ratio. And our total ratio is just 12 plus 15 plus 5. And this is equal to 32. This is equal to 32. Now here we can find for the labor charge. So we can find for the labor charge. The charge for the labor. How much did the labor they charge for the 3-bedroom apartment building? So we can find for labor charge, or the cost of labor. So labor charge, and this should be equal to the ratio for labor is 12 over the total ratio 32 times the total cost, or the estimated cost of building, which is $64,000. And this should be equal to $24,000. $24,000. Now let's see for the cost of materials, or materials charge. So materials charge. And this should be equal to, that's the ratio 15 divided by the total ratio 32 times the cost of labor, times the estimated cost, or the total cost, which is $64,000. Now here we'll get $30,000. $30,000. Now then we come to the contractor's charge, and this is 5 out of 32 times 64 $30,000. And this should be equal to $10,000. $10,000. So that's the charge for each person, or the charge for each item. That's, let's say, labor, materials, contractors. So labor charge is $24,000, materials charge is $30,000, then contractors charge is $10,000. So that's the charge for each particular cost. Now, at the start of the construction, the cost of labor increased by P%. So at the start, the moment they were about to begin the 3-bedroom apartment building. So at the start of the construction, the cost of labor increased by P%, which means they've increased the cost of labor by P%. And they've added another amount to the existing $24,000. So let's calculate the percentage increase here. The percentage increase. So the percentage increase. So we can say that now at the start of the construction, so at the start of the construction, increase in labor by P%. So let's deal with increase in labor by P%. So we are increasing it by P%. So this will be P, that's P%, P over 100 times 24,000. So when we get that, then we add it to what? 24,000. Let's say I can tell you to increase, let's say for example, increase 200 by, let's say 10%, or increase 200 Ghana cedis by 10%. So you just find 10 over 100 of the 200 Ghana cedis. And this one cancels, 2 times 10 is 20. So the 10% of 200 is 20. But they said we should increase it by this 10%. So you have to add 20 to what? 200, making what? 220 Ghana cedis. So here, our P% is, let's say, 10. So we just find what? P% of the amount, 24,000. Then we add it to what? To the initial amount here. So this is what we are coming to do here. That's what we are coming to do. So increase in labor by P%. So it will be 24,000 plus, that's P over 100 times the $24,000. And this will be 24,000 plus 0 cancels 0, 0 cancels 0. So here we have 240p. So 240p, and they are all in what? Dollars. 240p. So that's what we have here. Now when you continue again, they said materials increase by 2p%. So increase in materials by 2p%. Increase in materials by 2p%. And let's see, the charge for materials is 30,000. So we are increasing. So that's 30,000 plus, that's 2p over 100 times, that's 30,000. So let me clean this. That's 30,000. That's 30,000 here. So we have 30,000 plus 0 cancels 0, 0 cancels 0. We have 300 times 2. And this will be 3 times 2 is 6. So we get 600p. So 600 P dollars. That's 600 P dollars. So 30,000 plus 600 P dollars. So that's the increase in materials by 2%. And now here, okay, so now, but the contractor's charges remain what? Remained same. So which means the contractor's charges remain same, which means there is no increase. So no increase in contractor's charge. So if there is no increase, then the amount is still the same, which is what? 10,000. And this is just $10,000. That's still $10,000. So it's still the same. Now, they said after the increase, so before the increase, the amount for labor is 24,000, the amount for materials is 30,000, then the amount for contractors is 10,000. Now, after the increase, so this is after the increase. After the increase, we have labor charge to be 24,000 plus 240p. After the increase, we have materials to be 30,000 plus 600p, but no increase in contractors charge, and it's still $10,000. So now, after the increase, so this is the after the increase. What are they saying? The cost of labor was 2/3 the cost of materials. So let's see, the cost of labor was 2/3 the cost of materials. So the cost of labor, so we can say that after the increase, so after increasing, cost of labor was, which means is equal to 2/3 of cost of materials. So what's the cost of labor? Cost of labor after the increase is 24,000 plus 240p equals 2/3 of cost of materials after increase. So 30,000 plus 600p. So this is what we have. So now here we can multiply. We can take distributive property here. 2/3 of 30,000. So let's still write 24,000 plus 240p equals 2/3 of 30,000. 3 will go into 30. 10. 10 times 2 is 20. So we have 20,000 here plus 3 will go into 6. Let's say 2. 2 times 2 is 4. So we have 400p. So this is what we have. 20,000 plus 400p. Let me clean this one. So now, we group like terms, which is we have 24,000 minus 20,000 is equal to 400p minus 240p. So 24,000 minus 20,000, which is 4,000, equals 400p minus 240p is 160p. We divide both sides by 160, here also by 160. So p should be equal to 25. So p is just 25. So it was 25%, right? So p, they said we should get the value for p. So p is just 25. Very, very, very simple. So that's the A part. So p is just 25. Very, very simple. If you don't understand, please play back the video for better understanding. Now let's see the B part. The B part says we should determine the new cost of building the apartment. What will be the new cost? Don't forget, before the increase, the cost of labor was before the increase, the cost of labor was 24,000 cost of materials before the increase 30,000. Then here there was no what increase in the contractor's charge, which is still $10,000. But after the increase, it's 24,000 plus 240p, 30,000 plus 600p, respectively, for labor and materials, respectively. So now they said we should find for the new cost. So new cost of building the apartment. So let's see the B part. So new cost of building the apartment. New cost of building the apartment. So what will be the new cost of building the apartment? So now we have to find for the labor charge. Labor charge is 24,000 plus, that's 240 times P. What is P? 25. And when we do this and do it well, we'll get $30,000. $30,000. So that's the labor charge. And now let's see for the materials charge. And materials charge is 30,000 plus 600p. 30,000 plus 600, then P is 25. When we work that, we get $45,000. $45,000. Now, contractor's charge. Contractor's charge is still $10,000. So contractor's charge is still $10,000. So now for this we have to find for the total of the charge. So we have to find for the total charges here. So we add the labor charge to materials charge and to contractor's charge. So now here, new cost of building the apartment. So we can say that now new cost of building the apartment. New cost of building the apartment. And this is 30,000. Sorry, this is 30,000. Okay, so 30,000 plus 45,000 plus 10,000. So when we add this and add it, we'll get 85,000. Let's see, dollars. $85,000. So $85,000. So now we can say that, therefore, the new cost of building the 3-bedroom apartment is $85,000. Very, 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 very simple question. Very, very simple, very, very trivial, very, very interesting question. It's very, very simple. If you don't understand, please play back the video for better understanding. Thank you for subscribing, thank you for sharing, and thank you for commenting. See you in our next video. That's question 7.